Greetings, people. As you can see, well, let's start from the beginning. As you can see, there's something wrong with my face. I'm not wearing a mask right now because nobody's in my room. But, oops, there it is, my face. God, this is weird looking at the opposites. I can't feel the wound anymore, so I don't know where it is exactly, but it's here. That's not the only wound. That. I've got a thumb right now that doesn't work. I don't know if you can tell by looking, but one of these thumbs is more purple and larger than the other one, and that's because it's not working right now. The bottom moves, but the top, I can't really feel anything right now. This finger doesn't work quite right. A lot of pain right in here. My back has scrapes, scratches all over it, much like you see here. And that's because people, this weekend, I fell backwards from a height of about 6 feet onto a beach with a whole lot of jagged boulders at the bottom, and thankfully some sandbags that I had placed down there just 2 weeks prior. Without those sandbags, I don't think I would be here today, not so much because of death, because I think I would have survived unless I had hit my head the wrong way. And I did hit my head. I was kind of not conscious for just a few seconds. It was a minor concussion. But I think without the sandbags, it could have been more serious. But I'm thinking more possibly broken bones than death, because it was, like I said, only 6 feet. But it was backwards, had no control. Arms flailing, and why the scratches? Well, the scratches are the result of a variety of nails and screws that I kind of passed through on the way down through some stairs, and I guess that brings us to the main point about my face. I fell through some stairs that I had just removed. So I was backing up, expecting to find a stair where there was no stair, a stair that I had personally just removed. Now that may sound stupid, but I don't see it that way. I think it was just forgetfulness. But anyways, starting point number one. Starting point number two, I'm not in class today. We've got a sub here. Please be respectful of our sub. I'm not in class today because I am in North Carolina, where I am watching my daughters play in the NCAA championships for soccer. And they are definitely an underdog going up against the University of Virginia, a powerhouse. I'm holding out hope because anything can happen in soccer, but it will be a tough game. But anyways, it's an unusual occurrence for a mid-major to make the NCAA tournament because there are many barriers in the way, and so I'm there. I will be back Friday, but I am missing this one final day that I will see you folks before the exam. I will throw out there that I plan to have a Friday focus to talk about, or let's put it this way, to answer any questions that you might have for the related to the AP board test prior to Monday. Now, what I want to do today is introduce you to the materials that I have available to you at Google Classroom, among a few other things, to talk about what can we do in this final week to prepare for the monster test, May 3, 8 a.m. And I'm going to go through my list here. You can see on the overhead what we got brewing at Google Classroom. In the first sheet, let me just show it to you. We'll get into the details of the test itself. 55 multiple choice in 80 minutes, 4 FRQs in 100 minutes, and there are some links here that I think give you some basics on, well, first of all, the 55 multiple choice questions. And they're really, I don't have a whole lot of tips there for you except this, that you are pen and paper, right? You guys are pen and paper, which means you have the opportunity to actually eliminate things that are worthless to you. And I recommend using that method on your average multiple choice question. You know that B is wrong. It's just ridiculous. It doesn't belong there. Scrape it out. Gets it out of your mind. You can focus on what matters. And with a lot of AP multiple choice, as I've said before, you're often going to be stuck with 2 good answers, and one is arguably more right than the other. And if you can get yourself down to that point, that helps. You can focus in, watch verbiage, be careful with verbiage. Now, there is one type of multiple choice where I can give you strategy beyond that, and that's this type. You guys have seen these in class. It's the category kind. And here is an example. Which of the following is an accurate comparison of the roles of the state and the federal governments in elections? And you should play the true-false game here, because the reality is your correct answer is always going to be where you find 2 truths side by side. All right, in answering the question, you find 2 truths side by side. And in this particular case, both for the state and the federal at letter A, both were false responses, so that doesn't fit. And B, just the opposite. So B was your answer here. For C and D, you had flip-flopped, one being false, one being true. Here's another example for you. Go back up here. Which pairing below correctly matches both a constitutional protection of voting rights and a past or current structural barrier to voting? And again, just go down the category. Are these all constitutional protections? And in each case, you're going to put, well, yes, it is true. Well, yes, it is true. And go down, do the same thing over here. Is this a structural barrier? Straight ticket voting is not a structural barrier. That's false. Felony disenfranchisement, well, definitely is. Should a felon be kept from voting because they have a record? Maybe they've served their time and they're out and they've got a job now. Shouldn't they have the right to vote? That is a structural barrier. Many states do that. Poll taxes, no longer a structural barrier, right? 24th Amendment, false. So on. You're going to play that game, and you will almost always end up with that response of 2 truths in a row. You're going to get your answer by playing that game. If you play the true-false game, your chances of getting these ones right are really, really good, okay? So watch for that. How many of these are you going to see on the AP exam? Anywhere from 2 to 5, based on the law of averages, all right? As far as the other 55 go, there will probably be about 20 that come in pods, like 2 or 3 that you answer using a graph or a chart or a political cartoon or something like that. And then the other 30 or so are just singles, 25 to 35, just singlets, where you're just answering a question based on what's provided. Very simple, very quick. 55 multiple choice in 80 minutes. Back to the document. I do give some stuff here, some just basics on breaking down the exam and some advice. What types of questions exactly are they asking? If you read this whole document, it would take you 5 minutes. It wouldn't be a bad place to start, just to kind of give you the layout of the exam, which arguably you should know pretty well because every one of my tests reflected the exam. It was just a smaller or mini version of the exam. All right, moving on. Practice exam link here. This page, folks, is probably the most important one. It's the one that's going to help you the most. What you're going to see here, first of all, are 4 practice exams. One of them is given to us by AP Board, and it's a PDF. Just click on it, and you'll get 55 multiple choice. You'll get the 4 FRQs, and they will also give you the answers at the end so you can check your work. Now the FRQs you'll have to grade yourself. They'll give you a rubric, and you can go through. As far as the multiple choice go, yeah, they're going to tell you exactly what the answers were, and you can go back and check your work. Now, I consider this the most important piece for 2 reasons. I'll explain the first one right now. When you have a whole bunch of practice multiple choice and FRQs that you can go through, it's going to guide you to where you have weaknesses, okay? For example, if I get a multiple choice wrong, and when I look at the answer and then I go back, I go, oh, I got it wrong because I misread the verbiage, which is common in AP because they're tricky with verbiage. Well, that tells you, okay, on Monday I got to be more careful. I got to slow down. I've got to be a little more methodical about making sure I'm getting what I'm supposed to get here. Or maybe I just got that multiple choice wrong because I flat out don't know what on earth I'm talking about. Well, in a case like that, you're going to want to go back to that concept, topic, term, whatever it was that you didn't understand, go back and research it, look it up. You don't know what Keynesian economics are? Well, it's unlikely you'll see that question on the test, but you might. We don't know what's on the exam. And so, okay, you're not sure what that is? Quick, go back and take a look at it and make sure you do. So these practice exams, whether you do them like with an 80-minute limit or not, if you're worried about time, do that. Time yourself. See if you can get 55 multiple choice done in 80 minutes, and then you don't have to worry about it. I'm telling you, most of my students don't struggle with the 55 multiple choice in 80 minutes. Very, very few have had issues with time. FRQs, even less so. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone struggling with time on the FRQ. So timing and taking the fake test in a timing scenario, do it if it makes you comfortable. I'm not saying you have to. You may just go through these tests just to dive into the material, just to practice, and that's fine. That's what these tools are for. Use them how you want to. Now, these other 3 come from Albert. Well, who's Albert? I have no idea who Albert is. Einstein, maybe? I don't know. But I think he's dead, so I don't know how he produced the site. But at Albert, which by the way you are signed up for from the beginning of the year, I use it. That's where I pull some of my test questions from. You haven't used it yet, but here you go. There's 3 practice exams you can use at Albert, and Albert will take you through, again, the answers. They're going to give you the rubrics for FRQs, and so take advantage of that. Now, for 3 and 4, FRQ practice questions. I have had a few students come up to me directly and say, hey, on our tests in class, we never did a full FRQ. Okay, I would always give you the FRQs. You saw the whole FRQ, but we usually did it in bits and pieces, or sometimes instead of having you write, I would give you like a multiple choice question in its place. And now here you are, you're going to be asked to write out full FRQs. Well, first of all, don't worry about the fact that we haven't done a whole one, okay? One thing about AP U.S. government politics that I can reassure you of is, well, I have no idea what I'm trying to say. So let me start over. Your writing style, the beauty, the technique, doesn't matter here, okay? Your writing style means nothing to AP readers in this subject. What matters to them is accuracy. So what's most important here is when you get your A, B, C, or your A, B, C, D, they pull apart the questions they're asking you meticulously. And for each part, they're looking for a certain answer or answers. give them to them. It doesn't have to be beautiful language, doesn't even have to be complete sentences. You don't need a beautiful concluding paragraph with your persuasive essay. No, just give them what they want. The last point of FRQ 4 asks you to refute the other side. You pick your view. I think we should save the Electoral College. At the very end, refutation, you're going to say some people believe that the Electoral College should be changed because, and give a reason, give a good solid reason for the other side. You're not done yet, because then you're going to bash them over the head. However, I disagree because, and you're going to give a solid argument explaining why your argument essentially overrides their argument. That's the refutation. After that, no. You don't need a concluding paragraph. You just answered the last part of their step-by-step essay question. Okay? This is like poodles jumping through hoops of fire, folks. At the circus, do they do this at the circus? There's a master or owner, and then the poodle, and they've got these rings of fire. It's about 20 feet from poodle to master. And the master's over here giving commands. In the poodle, I think poodles know that if they don't follow the commands, they could start on fire. So they're listening to the master, telling them what exactly to do to survive. And they jump. Does this exist? I don't know if it does, but in my mind, there is a circus where there's a poodle and a master, and the poodle is jumping through these hoops of fire, and the whole crowd is just going like, "Oh, this is amazing!" You know, they're going crazy, and yeah, it's really exciting. Now, for you, it's not as exciting, but the point is, if the AP board is giving you point A, do it. Point B, focus right on what they want and do it. Point C, you're jumping through the hoops for the sake of points, because that's how you score high. So take it a piece at a time as you go through the FRQ pieces. Now, why are 3 and 4 so crucial? This is why I love them. This is why you should use them. Let me show you what we got here at 3. This is AP Practice FRQ 2018. In other words, these were actually given on the 2018 test, which was the first year of this version of the test. You're going to get the FRQs. Okay? There it is. And you can see it's A, B, C, just like you saw on my test. They're going to tell you what the rubric looks like, how it's scored. But most importantly, folks, this next part, 1A, this is an actual student's response. They changed the, what do they call that? Font. Okay, it's not in handwriting. They actually, they retyped it so it's readable. For one, readable, readable, edible, readable, readable. And so you can actually see a real-life human student response to an FRQ. You can learn so much from other people's writing. And then there's Bob. 1B is another sample. And then C. Kathy with a C. Her writing. And here's D. This is Danny. Or Daniel? Let's go Daniel. This is Daniel. This doesn't look very good. It's really short. But that doesn't matter if it's accurate. See, I don't know what the score is, but guess what? You will know, because as we go through all these samples of FRQ1, yikes, how many are there? There's tons. J, that's Janet. K is Kenneth. L, Larry, Mr. Borst. And then they give you scoring. Notice, the first sample they gave you was a 3 out of 3. That's what you want. The second sample, a 3 out of 3, and so on. They're going to tell you how the students scored, and they're going to explain why. You can learn so much from this, and it kind of explains how to answer an FRQ question. Now, it does this for FRQ 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it's going to give you samples, tons of samples of each. Look at this, folks. Learn from it. It's a very helpful document. Now, if that's not enough, it's not one click anymore because of the way it was formatted at AP Board. But this is 2019's free response questions, first of all. These are the actual questions that occurred 2 years ago prior to COVID. I hate COVID. Those are the questions. Here's the scoring guidelines. Got to hit another link. And then again, student responses for each of the FRQs. Now, this is a little bit more condensed. I think they only give you 3 student responses for each question. But again, the beauty of it is you can see good writing, and it's not always long. It's often very concise and abbreviated. And then you can see just terrible writing. Those that clearly didn't know what they were doing and didn't score well, 0 or 1 point, whatever. But folks, you're worried about the FRQs. This is your heaven right here as far as preparation and review. Check these out. That'll make you comfortable and familiar with the type of writing that they're looking for. And remember, AP readers, they're people like me. They're just AP government teachers that every early summer get together and they grade these things like crazy maniacs, trying to get through them all in time to get you your scores by July. All right, that's that. Now, what else do we got? Video resources for those of you who are not big fans of when you have to read, like paper, and then there's words on it. Actually, kind of like this. You don't like reading? Well, there's videos that can help you. First of all, C-SPAN. C-SPAN is kind of a horror show for people who are trapped watching it. I think they do this in prison to maximum security prisoners that don't cooperate or are serving life without parole, and so they feel like they can misbehave anytime they want. Oh, no, you can't. Because if you misbehave, 48 hours, C-SPAN, you're in isolation. There's your TV monitor, which you can't reach through the bars, and we're going to have it on full volume. It's devastating. But C-SPAN is aware that you guys exist. You take AP U.S. government and politics, and what they have done is they've provided some resources for us. I call them C-SPAN shorts because they're just little short videos that hit on various topics, and just so you can see what this link looks like. First of all, numbers, like the First Amendment might be in there because that's between 0 and 9. 1 falls in there somewhere, I think. And then A, B. So if you're worried about selective incorporation, go to S, click, and you'll probably find a little 3-minute video on it, all right? Nice source for us. Another one we watched in class, the 14-minute video on 150 various terms in 14 minutes. That was produced by Noble, and I stole that off the internet. AP Board YouTube reviews. These are actually produced by AP Board in April. As a matter of fact, as of this taping, some of them aren't done yet. But I sent you to the playlist, and you can look at those if you want and go through them. There is some emphasis on the FRQs. If you're worried about those, you can check out some of these. They're longer, though. And so at this point, with a week to go, I'm not saying this is the place to be, but it does offer some good insights. Now, quick views, Albert. I've got some links here to 2 YouTube videos that Albert put out. Einstein, I think. Somebody named Albert. Who named the company Albert. And then there's all this stuff. 2 videos. The first one is, I want to say, about 5 minutes, and it's going to take you through some quick tips to a successful FRQ. That's a good one. The second one is slightly annoying because I think they felt pressure to come up with 25 tips because that's the name of the video, 25 tips on how to do a good FRQ. And so there's some stuff on there that's a little ridiculous, like, maybe like read. Hey, you should read the question. It's great advice. If you asked me to list 25 animals, I would start simple because I'd be worried about reaching 25. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what they did with these tips. So I would have like dog, and then I would do puppy, but somebody would complain and say like, hey, wait a minute, a puppy is a dog, it's just a younger version. I would say, no, 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 they're not the same. Puppies are way cuter, they're different. And then I would say, because I'm stuck on dogs, like fox, coyote, wolf, dingo, jackal, and then I'd move into just stuff that I remember from like the zoo, giraffe, elephant. Anyways, in the 25 tips, there are some things there that are helpful, but some of them are kind of like, seriously? Why are you telling me that? Dog, squirrel. Give me something that's unique and helpful. Platypus. Yeah, that's unique and helpful. And you'll find a couple of those in those 25 tips. And then finally, don't forget, guys, about our crash course videos, 1 through 50. I know you're annoyed by these people. I understand. APUSH, now this, every other subject. But they do cover our curriculum beautifully from 1 to 50, all the way through, units 1 through units 5. And so again, if there's a topic that you're a little bit uncomfortable with, find the crash course. And I have the entire playlist if you click on the here, okay? So those are video reviews that you can use. Where else are we going here? Oh, Khan Academy. I've got a Khan Academy section, and again, you want to practice multiple choice and FRQs, a good place to go. What I like about Khan Academy is it's digital. I mean, you're online, so you answer a question. Oh, I think it's B. Click. And then right away you get fireworks if you got it right, which is super exciting. I mean, it makes you feel good, and you want to answer another one. Or you get it wrong. And the beauty of that is they tell you why. Why did you get it wrong? And it gives you some really helpful insights. Guys, I don't know what's going on here. Something's exploding. Zoom? No. You know why I'm here? It's because Zoom completely, shafted me, in the sense that I just recorded 45 minutes of discussion and then found out that Zoom failed, and that's why I'm here using whatever this is. QuickTime, it's called. Yeah, QuickTime. All right, so anyways, back to where on earth are we? Khan Academy. They have practice quizzes. They've got some FRQ tips. I've got links for all that. What I also kind of was intrigued by and liked was their course challenge. It takes you through all 5 units. It's kind of like it's not designed like an AP exam, but it's kind of like testing your overall knowledge. And just like all the other Khan Academy quizzes and tests and stuff, they give you the answers, which is really helpful. Quick return. I've got some Albert links besides the free tests, the practice exams that they've provided, and I've got those linked here as well. But anyways, Albert had some review resources and categorical resources if you're looking for a certain category that you're a little bit weak on. The C-SPAN resources. There's a whole bunch. They've got all the units with basic info on all the units. They've got key vocab terms. I think this is actually tied to those videos that I showed you earlier. But those are all in one spot. C-SPAN cares about you people. They care. And then finally at the bottom, I've got the 15 Supreme Court cases and the 9 foundational documents, which of course, you have to know those going into the AP board exam on Monday. Now my links at the documents probably just take you to the documents, and I would argue at this point, just know the general points of each of the 9 documents. Obviously the Constitution, dozens, if not a couple hundred points about, because that's what we've spent all of our time on, is, what is our government, and it's all based on constitutional knowledge. But other ones like Federalist 10, don't waste time reading the whole thing. Not that it's super long, but you kind of get the point. It's all about factions and controlling people and human nature. 51, more human nature, but focused then on the government structure, separation of powers, checks and balances. But yeah, know the basics so that you could do 2 things. If you see them used in multiple choice, you'll know which document's being talked about. And if you, when you answer FRQ4, you'll have a good basis for argument because you're going to need to use at least one of these documents in your to back your thesis statement, whatever side of the issue they bring up that you take. You've got to have some validation from one of the documents. They'll often give you 2 or 3 choices, but they're going to ask you to defend yourself with a document. And then a second defense comes from your overall knowledge of the topic. All right. In the Supreme Court cases, that's mostly for FRQ3 because you're going to get a Supreme Court case at FRQ3 that you haven't heard of, and you'll have to do the compare-contrast thing. You're going to have to pick one of the 15 that seems to relate most, that you can compare and contrast it to the one that they'll bring up in FRQ3. And you will likely see reference maybe to some of these in the multiple choice as well. Okay? So, guys, if you are somebody that bought one of those books, Princeton Review, Noble, Barron, these companies that produce the test booklets, they help you study for the test. Those are great. Use it. It's got everything you need. Basics coverage of all the units 1 through 5, but also the free practice tests, other tips. It's a great study tool, but you don't need it. If you haven't bought one, you don't need it. Everything that you would need is here. And if you use these resources with a week to go, you have more than enough that'll prepare you for that test on Monday. So with that, the rest of your time today, be it 35 minutes or whatever we got left, start to kind of peruse these resources, practice some multiple choice, do whatever you want to do. Don't waste your time, though. At home, you guys have got to be putting in time now, especially you multiple APers. You got to start hammering. You got to act like your phone's broken, your TV's busted. That 24-hour SpongeBob SquarePants marathon coming up this weekend on Cartoon Network, you're going to have to put it off. Wait for the next one. They do them like every 2 weeks. If it's Shark Week, please don't be Shark Week. But if it's Shark Week, record. Most of you have TVs. You can just record stuff. Watch it after our 2-week AP window. You can watch it in late May, early June. But don't get caught up in ridiculous stuff right now when we need to be focused in on review. Set yourself up to succeed. And these last number of days are crucial for piling information, especially the older units, the stuff that we haven't studied in months. You got to refresh so that you're ready to roll. All right? I'll either see you Friday or I'll see you on Monday morning as you're heading into the exam. All right? Be nice to your sub. We'll talk to you later. Here we go. I got to find the stop button. Where's the stop button? This is it recording? If this didn't record, I'm going to lose it. Wait a minute here. Here we go.